Pete Moore, Mart TV. I've owned many decent and different hunting rifles in my life, but one that always stuck with me in terms of really appreciating what it did was the Riflecraft LSR light sporting rifle. The brainchild of owner Andrew Evans Hendrick, who now has a massive reputation for custom guns. It was what I call a sort of a very basic semi-custom design, just there to improve upon what was a proven model at the time, using the Remington 700. What Andrew did, he got the basic gun in. The barrels often cut down to 22 inches depending on caliber. The action was checked for the lug concentricity, and if it wasn't, it could be blueprinted. So you had proper pull on both bolt lugs. He threw away the plastic stocks on the ADLs he used, and got in HS Precision Kevlar stocks. They're like a fat sporting stock, full handful round fore end, just generally sort of thicker around, and a very comfortable stock to use. These were pillar bedded and synthetic bedded. Triggers were tweaked, and muzzles were recrowned, but that was the whole package. I'd owned guns before that, but all factory, never had a custom or a semi-custom gun. And after a bit of mucking about, I found that the rifle it was in 308 Win, it liked the 168 grain AMAX from Hornaday, which back then you could use as a hunting round, with 44 grains of M140, and off the bench it would shoot ½ inch at 100 yards, which was good enough for me until it got too hot. But that's not a problem for a hunting rifle. You don't fire that many rounds at any one time. Beautiful piece of kit. I ran it for I think 3 years, and in the end I shot the barrel out, as these things do happen, and I very stupidly had it rebarreled with a heavy barrel, which I didn't like, and in the end, cut a long story short, I got rid of the rifle and moved on to other guns. But I've always had a hankering to get my LSR back, because it was what I always called my go-to rifle. Many years later, I think about a year and a half, couple of years ago, I was sent Remington 700 with a Macmillan style stock. It was actually what's called the MC3, and it's an offshoot of Macmillan, and it's made of a material called Xenolite, which was made by DuPont, designed and made by DuPont in the 1990s, as an alternative lightweight radiation shielding material to lead. One of the offshoots of the material is it's very solid and very rigid, and as often men discovered, makes a damn fine rifle stock. And this is their Traditions unit, and this is what it came with from Ray Trade. And getting the 700 back again, I thought, hey, I like this, but I love this stock. It's beautiful. So it's got the Macmillan style A3 and A5 large vertical pistol grip, the deep butt and high cone, good full fore end, nice cast in checkering. What's not to like, really, and a big fat thick rubber recoil pad. And I was talking to Andrew about this and LSRs, and he said, well, he's now making LSR2, and he said what he's using is the MC3 stock. And I said, well, I've got one. And he said, well, what do you want to do? I said, well, I wanted to build me LSR2, which he did. And basically, it's as described. My gun came with a 24-inch barrel. I cut it down to 22, which is all you really need. Had it threaded half by 20. The action lugs were fine on the bolt, so I didn't have to get those blueprinted, but if I had been, I would have done. The trigger is not that awful Remington trigger with the screw up in the blade, which I never really liked. It's almost like a Walker trigger. It's not, but it is. It's got a single weight adjuster at the front of the mech. I've got this down to about 3 pounds, and it's a medium width, smooth, slightly curved blade, and it breaks well, and it's everything you want from a hunting trigger. All in all, very, very nice. I was going to stick with the ADL hinge floor plate bottom metal, which worked fine on my LSR1, but it didn't quite work that way with the new Remingtons, and I found that it was a bugger to fill up, and also you'd get sort of third and fourth round stoppages, and I was just very disappointed. So I decided to bin that idea and go for a box mag system, and this is from the Bergara B14 HMR. What it is, it's new bottom metal and a new 5-shot magazine, but because the Bergara B14 exactly mimics the footprint of this Remington 700, this went straight on, and I got it off Importers Real Ag, gave it to Andrew and he fitted it up for me. So the rifle was pillar bedded and also synthetic bedded. Trigger was fine, bolt face was fine, got a decent magazine feed, and also I've got a butt bag, because Andrew bought these into the UK in the, say, 2000. Very useful. It's got a zipper pouch for ammunition, whatever. It's got like a rubber pad on it which helps to take the sting out of kickier rounds, and it's just a nice thing to have because the cone height on this is a tiny bit low, so it doesn't look it, and with that pad on it just gives you a perfect head scope position. For a bipod, I was going to originally hit a Harris BRS, which I do like, and I consider it probably the finest bipod ever made, but I wanted something that could come off easily, so I opted for the Spartan Pro Hunt. And basically, it's the usual sort of Spartan systems we all know and love. Magnetic attachment. It literally just plugs in and plugs out, so you can put it in your pocket if you don't need it. Legs adjust, and you have a cant adjuster here. I fitted it into one of their gunsmith's adapters, which I got Andrew to bond into the stock, and so you can put the bipod in two ways. Put it in that way, and it won't traverse. You pull it out and put it in this way, and it does traverse, which is quite nice. So you can adjust the cant, which again is a good feature. So all in all, I'm very pleased with that. As time moves on, I decided moderator is the way to go. I think we all did. Now, this is a ATEC H2 modular moderator from Jackson Rifles, and I quite like the look of it, and it's certainly a good little moddy. And what they do, they have a thing called A-lock. This here is like a little top hat adapter, so it's half 20 inside, and it's a interrupted screw thread, like a buttress, very thick, heavy thread form, and inside is a mirror image of that. So what you do with the H2, rather than to screw it on the normal way, you slide it on, you feel the threads mesh, pull it back and give it a quarter turn, and it's on. Off. It's as simple as that. It's really nice. They also do a muzzle brake type protector, which is again a useful thing to have. But I just like the fact you can on off the bipod, which is bloody brilliant. The gun's been very good. I've worked up a couple of loads for it, and it'll shoot, if I do the right thing, around about 1/2 inch, maybe a tad more, but nothing over 3/4. So I'm very happy with that, and I use a 165 grain SST from Hornaday, reload using TAC, and that's doing about 2,670 feet per second, and it gives me round about 2,600 foot-pounds, which is more than enough for pretty much anything in the UK. Scope-wise, I went back to my roots. This is my Carley's Heller CT 310x50. I've had it for about 15, 18 years. And it's the first scope I took to Africa. Simple, no side parallax, no illumination. I had a Mildoc, got Carl's put a Mildoc reticle in it, and it's a super scope. It's been around the block a long time. I've had it serviced a couple of times. I've got it on a tier 1 0 MOA Picatinny rail, because Picatinny is the way to go in my opinion for scopes, and I like the fact that if I want to take this off, I've got a decent scope base. But overall, this is a cracking rifle. So the barrel's been run in, it's doing good work, and it certainly shoots, and I've got no complaints. But I'm really pleased I've got my go-to rifle back again. I really am. So, you know, it gets clean, it goes in the cupboard. I've got my loads for it now, not a problem, and it just shoots. So, give Riflecraft a shout. They can tell you more spec than I can, but basically, things like the box mag conversion are mine, so that would be an extra. And but that's it. It's just a super rifle. Nothing clever, nothing fancy. It's not like my Blazer, but it's a proven design that really does work. And as Riflecraft have proved, with a little bit of effort and a little bit of thinking, you can turn a good average rifle into a great basic rifle. Okay, if you like what you've seen, tell your mates, comment. Support the site. If you want to hear anything more from me, then it's pmore.shootingsports@gmail.com. Until then, good shooting.